Hey, what is going on everybody, and welcome to Fantasia. For today, we're going to be jumping into another session of Epic 7. Now today, got some RTA clips for you guys. So I've been playing quite a bit of RTA while not recording, so I do have a bunch of replays to share with you. Now, this is actually pretty funny because it's where Benimaru, I think it was the second day that he was out, and I was playing some RTA. I had mine built and I wanted to test him out, but I didn't really get a chance to because a lot of people were very trigger happy with picking him first, which I don't think is a very good idea, by the way. So we see Benimaru getting snatched up with my opponent's first pick. I just responded with Arwell and Destina. I don't typically open with C. Lilius, Lua, or those types of units anyway, as you guys know from watching the channel, so this meant almost nothing to me. My opponent ends up going for Spectre LR Crow, which is a very strong combo right now in the meta. You have to use AoEs to hit the Spectre, but LR Crow punishes you for using AoEs by decreasing his cooldown faster, granting barriers, and all those shenanigans. So in turn, I just decided, hey, well, let's go ahead and pick Pirate Captain Flan and Shu. It's a weird team that he has, but if you stop the LR Crow from putting up the immunity with Pirate Captain Flan's bombs, then the rest of the units are kind of susceptible. And honestly, Shu is still good into LR Crow. Even though you can use LR Crown to her in Guild Wars, she can still obliterate him. She's single target, so she doesn't get punished as hard by the LR Crow. It does decrease his turn cooldowns, but it's still fine, because she hits like a truck, and she hits twice. Shu also is really good into Benimaru, for obvious reasons, because she's ice. And so yeah, my opponent ended up going for Ron and Bryceria, and I responded with a Landy, because Landy is going to be pretty good into all four of these remaining units, as long as I banned the opener, which was Ron. My opponent banned the Arwell, which was my damage mitigation, and so you're going to see how it plays out, right? It is going to be quite interesting here. So popping the Landy's S3 and push up the team, my opponent does get a nice chunky barrier, which I would have loved to barrier invert if I had DJB in this draft. But because no one had immunity except for the Benimaru, we're just going to go for the S3 and bomb everybody. Destina goes afterwards, so 50% combat readiness on her S2. We're going to push up our Pirate Captain Flan and prevent the LR Crow from getting the immunity for the team. We end up pushing up the Shu even further, and what we're going to do is just pop all of our AoEs so that on subsequent turns, if LR Crow's alive, then I don't have to worry about him getting -2 cooldown reduction on his S3. Anti-crit out for everybody, so everyone's nice and safe. Benimaru does take the turn. I think he's on his own artifact, that's why he started with immunity, and now he has the attack buff. But, you know, without his multi-layer barrier, he doesn't get to hit the Shu for free. He has to end up going for the Pirate Captain Flan. Defense breaks her, which is quite nice, but he doesn't gain enough fighting spirit to pop off. So Briarwitch uses the Spectre's souls to go ahead and strip everyone of their buffs. The problem is with Spectre as the follow-up kind of cleave unit, she is in a bit of a pickle because if she S1s or S3s, she can only take down one unit. Now the unit's probably going to be Landy, seeing as Landy's about to take the turn. And by doing this, she can actually push everyone else back in combat readiness. But at this point, I think Pirate Captain Flan had already done enough damage. You see the bomb on the Briarwitch and the Spectre. It's probably going to take them out. Destina is just going to cleanse the whole team. And I can't revive because of the Briarwitch, but I am forced to pop my skills here. And I think here I try to go for the LR Crow. Yeah, he does resist, which is quite unfortunate because now he gets to rip it S3, but it's an AoE, and Shu is Shu. So we just pray, and we get a counter, but we don't. But we don't. But at any time, Shu can strike, and you never know when. Any moment now. Any moment now. There goes my Flan. Come on. Any moment now. There goes my Destina, actually. So any Shu, we can hit the Benimaru, because why would you not? Alright, Spectre goes down thanks to the Pirate Captain Flan. Come on, Shu. Any moment now. Any moment now. Can we... We're probably going to hit the Benimaru. Yep, there we go. And still no proc. Any moment. There we go. That's the Shu that I know. Alright. And there we go. We get to get pushed up with the Snow Crystal. We got an S2. And let's finish things off. She didn't even need to proc the counters. That's how disgusting she is. She didn't even need the counters in order to get the kills. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and jump into our second clip. As you can see, my opponent is also very trigger happy with Benimaru. Very early pick. So yeah, they go in for first pick Arwell since they had first choice, and I responded with just a DJB and an A-Raz. So DJB and A-Raz is what I typically do if I want to go for a bit more aggro. DJB is pretty fast, 250, 7 speed about, and A-Raz is 240. So we have good tempo, we have good CR pushing, we have cleansing, we have sustain, we have mitigation, and it is just a very nice way for me to push up and get aggressive while still maintaining some bruisers in the draft. My opponent ended up seeing DJB and said, well, we can use Benimaru. I mean, if DJB used his barrier inversion, we get a second turn, Benimaru gets the proc, and all those shenanigans. And then they also follow up with an A-Ravi, which is okay. A-Ravi is typically not the best into A-Raz because of his protection for the backline and his defense buff for the team, but she is pretty decent into a lot of DPSs, so that shuts down some options that I have. It doesn't, however, shut down Spectre Tenebria, because my opponent has no AoE in the first 3 units. That means the last 2 units need AoE. So we go ahead and snatch up the Spectre, and because the A-Ravi's there, I decided why not go for LQC as well. We'll get some extra damage, we have some extra mitigation for the team based on her passive. And yeah, it was going to turn out quite well until my opponent went for a Bellion to counterpick my Spectre Tenebria, and then they last picked ML Kayron, which, not really sure why. I think it's because my team didn't have that much damage in it, and he was probably thinking of banning the Spectre so that I can't abuse my non-counterable S1s. But I end up last picking Pirate Captain Flan, and she is a really scary unit for things like Bellion and A-Ravi, because you can just full-on control them, but also for high-resist units, or typically high-resist units, like ML Kayron. I've been seeing a lot of people build him with extremely high resist. Not saying that's the way to go, but Pirate Captain Flan is usually built with even more effectiveness to compensate for units like that. So he ended up banning the Pirate Captain Flan, and I don't ban him for it. I don't blame him for it. It's probably what I would have done too. But yeah, so we ended up taking the first turn. We just push up with DJB, because why would you not? And we just go for an S2. We're going to try to burst down this Benimaru, get that defense break, and yeah. LQC with the little chop, and down he goes. Now, LQC here, I think, I noticed that the Bellion gave my team injury. You can see a little bit of injury markers on everybody. So that just means that we focus all of our attention on the Bellion, and we can ignore the other units. If you hit an injury unit, it means that they're not on counter. Bellion doesn't have built-in counter, and Elbrus only triggers if you attack somebody else on her team. So I end up going for the stun on the A-Ravi. It was worth it to go for the stun there instead of hitting the Bellion, just to make sure the A-Ravi doesn't get her turn. And now Kayron, yeah, he just kind of... We just ignore Kayron. So DJB gets to take his turn, and we're just going to blind everybody with an S2. We end up actually getting it, which is quite surprising. A little dual attack action to heal up a little bit, which didn't really matter all too much. But the fact that DJB managed to land a blind on the Kayron means that the Kayron's actually not on a resist build, which also explains why he banned Pirate Captain Flan. Right, so LQC gets to take the turn. We're going to bonk that A Ravi, take her out, and get a lot of splash damage on everybody. But here's the good thing. Bellion's still alive, which means I still have somebody to hit, and this Kayron won't be too much of a threat. Bellion does S1, and we're still fine. A lot of injury on everybody, but everyone's fairly tanky, and this Kayron is not really contributing much to his team. It's pretty much a 3v4. And I think he's trying to hold off until Kayron can get his skill off, but all I have to do is not attack him. Plus, Bellion's not even on counter set. If Bellion was on counter set, it might have been a little bit different. But yeah, with every chance I got, I just attacked with Spectre into the Kayron because he can't counter it. And that time we got lucky with a little dual attack. The dual attack wouldn't have mattered, by the way. That luck meant nothing because, as you can see, LQC would have taken the turn and we would have been able to finish him off anyway. But yeah, 2 fun little clips for you guys of my opponents trying to use Benimaru a little too early in draft, and a little sneak peek at Kayron doing nothing. But with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe for more Epic 7 content. And until next time, take care.